Browns fans love to support their team on the road, but planning every detail is a hassle. True Fan Travel, an official fan experience partner of the Cleveland Browns, has done the work for you. Each Browns trip includes flights, hotels, an exclusive tailgate, game tickets, transportation, food, drinks, and more. You'll even have access to former Cleveland Browns players during a private meet and greet and Q&A. Go Browns! Visit truefantravel.com today and reserve your ultimate Browns travel package.
Time for the Burning River Sportscast. Training camp has started, and the boys are off to the Greenbrier once again. Country roads take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia. Thought you guys would join in there. In an offseason marked by very little drama, fulfilling impact, player contracts, and key contributors getting healthy, it has many wondering, is there a shoe left to drop? Or are the Browns, for once, in a position to take on the AFC North as one of the NFL's best teams? We'll break it all down for you next on the very first episode of Season 3 of the Burning River Sportscast. I wonder if the parade of thousands of boats floating down the river 2 days beforehand might have also contributed to the pollution in the river.
Not likely.
Oh, okay.
Climb aboard, bitches.
Yeah, I'm excited. You kidding me?
Oh, I'm two-time coach of the year, Kevin Stefanski.
But like,
Mock.
yeah.
Ing.
Yeah.
Bird.
Yeah.
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 Mark and Bird, don't everybody have you.
Guys!
I'm kicking my ass. I'm always getting rubbed the wrong way.
Nice, yeah. That's I can't. Bones doing a shocker over there.
Whoops.
You were close. The Hunger Game. What's our treasure hunting company going to be called?
Fines for Days.
That's the worst name I ever heard of. But Fines for Days at Towpath Media Company. Croatia. That needs canceled immediately.
Why hasn't it been canceled yet?
That's kind of what I thought, so that's why I put it in Facts for Days. Bonus fact.
I don't like the Nazis.
Take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama. Take me home, country roads.
Are you kidding me?
Welcome into the Burning River Sportscast, presented by the fine folks at Towpath Media. I'm Kenny Thunder, as always, seated beside Grandpa's favorite muggle and Olympic champion tugboat captain, Red Hot Ronnie Jams. Hashtag blessed to have the big Bone Man back on the board for another season. I was sure bonely all off season. I was so sick at one point, I thought I had a femur. Luckily, the wife put on some spare ribs that summarily tickled my funny bone, and I merrily escaped with all my limbs intact. And now I'm boned to be wild. So, Bone Man, with football season about to begin in just around 40 days or so, can you feel it in your bones?
I feel it, and it's warming up. I can't wait.
So many bone puns.
I'm just glad you didn't tell us any fibulas. On a more serious note,
Kenny's a dad now. That's what happened. Is he's been a dad for a little bit. It's finally catching up. He's like, hey, listen to all these ones I got.
Those are good bone puns, right?
I'll give you a bone pun.
On a more serious note, I want to take a quick second and send our best wishes to camera operator number 2 here on the Burning River Sportscast, currently fighting through some pretty tough medical circumstances, Big Mike. Just know that we're here for you. We're thinking of you, praying for you every day to get better. Love you and hope to have you back real soon.
Come back, Mike.
With that, back to Red Hot. Where can our listeners find the dopest dope they ever heard on a podcast, as well as the only podcast dedicated exclusively to Cleveland Browns backers everywhere?
We are the unofficial podcast of Cleveland Browns backers everywhere.
The unofficial.
That's officially unofficial.
Officially unofficial.
But then you can find our podcast wherever you get your podcasts. I'm talking Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Podcast, Castro, Good Pods, and so many more. And don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, the only place that you can find our video podcasts. And check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Our handle for all those socials is at Burning River Sportscast. We are on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter, with the handle at Burning River Pod. And while you're at it, check out our merch at www.thetapandmedia.com/shop. Got all kinds of stuff in there. Check it out. But today on the show, this is what you can look forward to. We're catching up on all the off-season happenings, or as many as we can talk about in our unlimited amount of time that we make up. We don't want to keep you here.
We have arbitrary timelines.
Yeah. We're also going to take a look at training camp and how things have gone at the Greenbrier, and discussing the upcoming season. We want to talk about the schedule a little bit, I think. So.
Hell yes.
So yeah, it's fucking football season, y'all.
Wow.
And we're back. We are back. We are back. We are
baby.
back.
We're getting dug back.
We're getting dug back.
That was
we're
explicit.
the 3 best friends that anyone could have. Yes, we're the 3 best friends that anyone could have. We're the best 3 friends that anyone could have, and we'll never, ever, ever leave each other.
Yeah.
Let's kick things off like we always do with the Burning River News Story of the Week. All right, so the 33rd Olympiad is officially underway for all approximately 11,000 athletes that are gathered in Paris and French Polynesia, if you're a surfer.
That's true.
That is except for the triathlon athletes.
No surf in Paris.
No, but French Polynesia. Yes. That is except for the triathlon athletes hoping to practice for their event. Things are not underway for them.
What happened to them?
Well, I'll tell you. The river that's used for the event has a problem when heavy rains come rolling in. And heavy rains were rampant during opening ceremonies and the first few days of the games there. So the problem the river has, pollution.
Which was a known problem.
Most rivers have pollution problems.
But like specifically this one, they knew that this was an issue heading into the event.
Yeah, and so basically what's happening is due to runoff and other factors when you get these heavy rains, the river goes from perfectly safe to swim in to something less desirable.
This perfectly safe river to swim in, I think I read, hasn't been perfectly safe to swim in the last 100 years.
Well, so the mayor or whoever jumped in the river to show that it was safe. He may have a third eye growing right now.
But they did know because it wasn't safe.
They've
been taking action to clean it.
Yeah, $1.5 billion US.
Did it come from the U.S.?
Well, no, I'm just saying in U.S. dollars is $1.5 billion.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is in
But
US.
a little bit of rain was enough to overthrow $1.5 billion.
And so as of right now, everybody's kind of left wondering, what's going to happen. Right now, all the practice sessions have been canceled. They're waiting to get word if they're able to clean it up enough in the short time that they have. It's taken 100 years they haven't been able to do it, but maybe in a couple days they'll be able to clean it up so that it's safe enough for everybody to swim in. They might have to cancel the event. And so what do we think, boys? Is this going to go from a triathlon to a biathlon?
I mean, imagine you're a top-tier athlete, right? A triathlete.
I don't have to imagine that. I am a top-tier athlete.
Imagine you're a triathlete, and you're the 0.0001% in the world. And maybe swimming is your best discipline. You've been training your entire life for this, and they go, oh, river's dirty.
Sorry about it.
I mean, I just don't understand. Like, they knew the Olympics.
Why are they in the French Polynesia?
The Olympics, right. They knew the Olympics were coming here for a long time. To Bones' point, they spent $1.5 billion to clean the river. Nobody thought to clean the river banks?
Nope.
We just said, if it rains, it's over for them.
It's over.
I mean, I wonder if the parade of thousands of boats floating down the river 2 days beforehand might have also contributed to the pollution in the river.
Not likely.
Oh, okay. It was a unique opening ceremony. I'll say
it was pretty cool. I watched it. It was neat.
There was a lot going on.
Listen,
just like the athletes on the boats, I thought was pretty interesting.
Hands down, top moment. What was it?
The top moment of the opening ceremony?
Yeah.
Probably Celine Dion.
Hell yeah, Celine Dion just belting it from the on top of the Eiffel Tower.
I'll tell you
She's
what.
gone through so much shit, and then just to be able to get up there and just do what she does.
Yeah, I mean, she's apparently really sick.
Yeah, very sick.
Some kind of neuro disease that makes her have
Yeah.
weird movements and such, and affects her vocals.
Well, she was
spot on.
Whew.
She was fantastic. I was like watching her, and she's on the Eiffel Tower. I don't know if anybody else really even saw this or cared, but I'm looking at like 2 feet in front of her. There's no guardrail or anything keeping her, and I'm just thinking like, if I'm that high in the air, like what an unnerving spot to be in.
Oh, you don't got to tell me twice. It's like my biggest fear is heights. So
like, it's like standing on top of a building, with no fence or nothing. And she's just belting it from there.
I would sound like what's her name that sung the national anthem at the All-Star game. I wouldn't sound like Celine Dion because I wouldn't be able to concentrate on anything.
Yeah, that poor girl. She went to rehab. She's doing better now.
Am I not supposed to too soon?
No,
I'm not supposed to joke about that.
It's fine. It was apparently
too soon?
the worst national anthem ever.
Oh yeah, it's the Planet Fergie.
Ingrid Andress.
Yeah. That girl.
Yeah.
That girl.
Tough day for her. But not for Celine. She was powerful.
Whatever the opposite of that was. Celine was that.
Brought me back to Titanic, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Just like.
Oh, yeah.
Brought you back to fourth grade, baby.
We did do that in the talent show. Yeah. The Bone Man and one of our other compadres, we sang Our Heart Will Go On.
How was it?
In an inflatable raft.
Yeah. I know your guys' families. I know your guys' families from growing up. Did somebody come in and like film this? There has to be record of
we
this.
really probably should have had someone film that.
I don't think
this
so.
was before the day that everybody had cell phones with cameras in it and stuff.
No.
So,
Yeah, but your dad.
like, Dad would have had to show up with a VCR.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
We practiced it quite a few times in front of them, but I mean,
I like how you call it a VCR instead of a camcorder.
VCR.
They did take the big tapes at one point.
We sunk the boat and everything.
Yeah.
It was dramatic.
It was. Yeah.
It was quite the thing.
Can we do a reenactment on the show?
We're probably too big for that now.
You think?
I am.
Oh, you're definitely too big. You're too big for basically most things.
Thank you.
I guess that's enough with the news story of the week. Good job, Celine. That'll take us to the Burning River Rundown. All right, so it's been mostly you alluded to it in your opening monologue that you wanted us to turn into
a sing-along
jam sesh. It has been mostly uneventful this offseason for the Browns. Like nothing's really happened.
I mean, everything
besides Amari Cooper kind of holding out for a second, but he didn't really hold out.
But then the Browns fixed it. They restructured his deal, and it's like everything that we would have typically thought about as Browns fans or been worried about as Browns fans during an offseason. They all went away, and the Browns did the right thing every step of the way.
Yeah, and so, I mean, with that, like I said, mostly uneventful. It's making me a little bit uneasy, is what I will say.
Yeah, we're used to something bad happening.
But the good news is...
I mean, think about just the years prior, just even the Baker drama in the offseason. Were we keeping him? Was he doing? Was he healthy? Was it... I mean, just even the 4 years prior, like...
Since you mentioned him early in the show, I'll go here with this. I like that this year, you actually sent us something not too long ago. It was probably last week or something. Of one of the radio hosts in Cleveland or whatever.
Greg Williams, former head coach.
Yeah, but it was during an interview, wasn't it, with radio host, radio show in Cleveland or something? I don't know. Either way. So Greg Williams tried to poke the bear of the entire fan base and talked about how he definitely could have won a championship with Baker and whatever. Regardless of anybody's feelings on that, that's not the part I'm getting into is... It was nice to see for the first time that didn't blow up into like this big like everybody's talking about it now. Yeah. It kind of just was like, oh, Greg Williams said something else, and then everybody moved on.
I mean, it just reaffirmed the fact that I knew they should have hired Greg Williams to begin with, but that's fine.
Here we go. No, but my thing is, I'm glad that like that stuff is finally blowing over, and it's kind of becoming like not not the cool thing to talk about anymore.
I know Baker was in the news again today talking about just how he gave everything he had to Cleveland and, thought they were poised for going back to the AFC Championship game, and then things just fell apart. And
Zach, can you punch me in the face, please?
I'm too far, sir.
I regret going here now.
His name is Bone.
It was completely blown over until Kenny Headache was talking about it. So our show is the one that's fucking everybody with Baker talk. But anyways, we are back now, and we finally have some Browns news to talk about. And just so everybody knows, this is the official start to Season 3, as you mentioned, of Burning River Sportscast. So we will be here week in and week out until
the rest of the season,
the end of the Super Bowl.
That's right.
So you're stuck with us for what does that make up? I think it's something approximately 32 weeks.
30
or something
weeks.
Like that.
Welcome to the hell ride.
Woo. Yeah. Climb aboard, bitches. But yeah, so let's get things started. We'll with the Burning River Rundown. We're going to start with some injury news here, and first and foremost on everyone's minds, as it should be, is Nick Chubb when it comes to injuries.
Batman.
He is.
I'm Nick Chubb.
You're not.
Sorry, I was doing a Batman voice.
Oh, that was terrible. But one thing, he's currently on the active PUP list. And so, I mean, it's kind of cool to see that instead of just being on like IR or whatever, he's starting the season on the PUP list, which means he's fairly close to returning.
I heard Andrew Berry just on a radio recently say he's close.
Yeah. And so he's played, he's kind of played down his recovery through this whole thing. He's kind of like, I don't really know. I'm working really hard. I don't want to put a date on it. We're just going to keep working and see where we land. But if you're reading the writing on the wall coming from the Browns, they haven't come out and said it, and they try and tamper expectations every time people start getting ahead of themselves. But momentum's growing here. So far in the last probably 2 weeks, we've seen video of him squatting around 600 pounds in the gym. Mary Kay Cabot came out and she said she watched him do full sprints at practice and make near full speed cuts, and that he looked fantastic, but no camera crews were allowed around him for that.
Clearly.
What do you guys think? Is the Dark Knight returning?
I mean, here's
for
the
week
thing.
one.
The Browns suit up on September 8th against the Dallas Cowboys at home.
Yeah.
In mid-prime time.
Oh, yeah.
There would be no bigger rush, no bigger, wrestling pop than Nick Chubb running out on that field week one.
What if they don't even show him? Like he just warms up in the locker room. He comes out for the first play, gets a handoff.
The place will melt.
Yeah. You talk about rush. I know where all my blood's rushing. I'm going to be full Chubb for that, for sure.
Look, talking about the Bone Man. I mean,
he's quarter Chubb right now, and Chubb's not even practicing.
I would say this. Look, I think it's easy to get caught up in that hype. We have to kind of step back and go, this was a total knee reconstruction.
Who are you?
It was the second time it's been done, and he's older this time. So, I don't want to get our hopes up for season one, but I also know
for season one
for
week one.
For week one,
okay.
But also, no, like you said, the writing on the wall. I mean, Nick has kind of been saying I've been counted out before, and I've been through this before.
Yeah.
So I think it's absolutely possible that he could come back for week one.
I think he's coming back week one.
But I just can tell you, that place will melt.
I think I like Bones' idea. I think that we'll be warming up and everything. They're gonna be announcing everybody coming out of the tunnel, and then all of a sudden it's the wrestling moment. You're gonna, if you smell.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
and out comes Nick Chubb to fuck up the Cowboys.
And even if he gets limited touches in it, and just the fact that he is on the field will be such a boost to that team.
Whew. Guys, I'm getting hot and bothered. You have no idea.
Sweaty in your sweaty places?
Oh boy.
So fingers crossed for week one return.
Oh, yeah. In other injury news, though, for the Browns, Greg Newsome did have to have hamstring surgery. Supposedly it was pretty minor. And they're saying he should possibly be ready for week one, if not very shortly thereafter. He'll be ready for. So
yeah, I mean, these kinds of things that happen early in camp. Thankfully they happened early in camp. But also a little concerning because you want your guys ready for
Greg
one.
Newsome, I think, is a lingering issue because I don't think he ever actually practiced during camp. I think it was just they put him straight. He showed up, he got his physical, and they realized that his hamstring wasn't where it should be.
Yeah.
And he went straight to surgery. So, but again, supposedly minor. It was enough to hamper him. But it was a pun. I gave a bone pun.
Hamper on the hamstring?
Yeah. But not enough to, really concern them too much, apparently, until he showed up for camp and it was still hurt. So, but hopefully he'll be back for week 1. Dalvin Tomlinson, arthroscopic knee surgery, same deal with him. Hopefully back for week 1. If not, then shortly thereafter. So
yeah, I mean the Dalvin one worries me more because that front is so important, and he's a key component there. Not that Greg isn't. I mean, Greg's a great defensive back, but I just think everything starts with that front four, and hopefully he'll be back and ready for week 1.
Yeah, absolutely. And then other guys that have missed time so far: Jerry Jeudy, Nyheim Hines, Nick Chubb, obviously, Cameron Mitchell, D'Anthony Bell, Wyatt Davis, Mike Hall, Jed Wills, Jack Conklin, Myles Garrett, and Zadarius Smith. And I'm not going to get too up in arms about this. There's a lot of guys to miss some time, but it's camp.
Early in camp. Yeah.
It's all maintenance days, especially guys like Myles Garrett. Like they're not. He feels anything. Like he's like, somebody tickled my knee last night. They're gonna be like, okay, well, you're gonna sit out today.
Yeah.
So, not really any news there. Just wanted to put it out there that there's some guys missing some times. Next up here, though, transactional news. Nick Chubb. It's been a minute since we talked. We haven't been on the air in a while. And so some things
we're gonna make it for a whole offseason.
Yeah, not all of this is new news. It's just news.
It's just news. We bring you the news.
Yeah. And so Nick Chubb, obviously everybody's heard by now. He restructured his deal, lowers the salary cap hit for this year, gives the Browns some more or less, for lack of a better term, insurance. Given the fact that he's coming off of a significant knee injury, they basically made it so he has the opportunity to earn at or near the same level he was making before, but with incentives. So he has to hit certain milestones and play a certain amount of time in order to get there.
Yeah, I mean, this was kind of the best of both worlds, right? It helps the team lower their cap number, and you didn't put Nick Chubb in a situation where he's not able to earn his money.
Right.
So, I mean, it's kind of like I mentioned in the open. I mean, they've done all the right things, and this was a big part of that was getting Nick Chubb right. Because remember, the conversation was, are they even going to keep Nick Chubb? I mean, are they going to be looking to deal Nick Chubb or cut Nick Chubb altogether because he's a free agent at the end of the season anyway? So coming off the knee surgery. So the fact that they restructured him is good news for everyone.
Well, this is one big prediction that I'm glad we were all wrong on this program is the fact that we all thought Nick Chubb was gone.
And he still may be at the end of the year.
Well, to be fair, we all said it's most likely he'd be gone in the offseason, like this offseason.
True.
And we're past that. So,
True.
I mean, I guess not technically, but we're past that. So that's good. And then Amari Cooper obviously held out for just a second, but they ended up restructuring his deal pretty quickly. So we get one more year out of Amari Cooper for sure.
Amari's an interesting one because he's 30.
Yeah, and I like what they did with the contract, right? So they restructured it. They basically gave him all of his money that he was getting and guaranteed it all for this 1 year. And then they're letting him be a free agent after next year.
Which he's earned.
Or after this season.
Which he's earned.
Yeah.
I mean, he has had his most productive years as a Brown.
Yeah, and they actually gave him the opportunity to earn more than he was going to make this year if he hit certain incentives.
Yeah.
Again, a win-win for everybody. It doesn't put you in a position where you're paying a 30-year-old receiver for 3-4 years. And it also allows him to say at 30, hey, I'm still doing big things. You should pay me that much.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see at the end of the season how that pans out. I mean, my guess is this is probably the last year we'll see Amari in a Browns uniform just because what he'll want to make is market price. And these contracts for receivers are starting to look like quarterback contracts. So
yeah, and we all know what you think about quarterbacks.
They got to stop. Especially now. These guys are all getting $50 million a year. There's not going to be any money left for the rest of the team.
Yeah. And then next up here, Dustin Hopkins signed an extension, 3 years.
Bones boy.
Oh yeah, I just put him up there.
Are you excited?
He's up on the big
Are
screen.
you excited?
Yeah, I'm excited. You kidding me?
He sounds angry with me. Why would I even ask that question?
The most emotion that's ever come out of the Bone Man.
Oh man! As much like for all the hate that you had towards Cade York, you've now channeled that. He's back on the team, by the way.
Our win losses just went up +2.
Nice
in the win category.
Bold prediction.
Nice. He's gonna have 2 game winners this year, huh?
Maybe more.
Oh, okay. Well, he's predicting another career year out of Dustin Hopkins.
Yeah.
I mean, he's only what?
Dustin
33?
Hopkins has unfinished business. The injury stopped him from being the top scorer in Browns history. So,
yes.
But anyways, 3 years, $15.9 million. This deal makes him a top 5 paid kicker in the league. We got Justin Tucker over here or whatever. So
he's close. I mean, Justin Tucker's making just slightly more per year. I mean, making like 6.2 or something per year. So
Justin Tucker at this very moment, I know people would probably think I was insane for saying this, but I would take Dustin Hopkins over Justin Tucker at this moment because last year Justin Tucker finally showed some age. So
I'll take Dustin over Justin any day just because
Dustin over Justin.
Just because he's Dustin Hopkins.
Let's start the campaign.
We need a shirt. We need a shirt that says Dustin greater than Justin.
We'll just put Dustin and then Justin underneath because Dustin over Justin.
Let's do both.
Okay, I'm in.
We'll put him in the shop.
Anyway,
shop. I mean,
so
//shop.
The best part about this whole thing, though, is we talked about it being an uneventful offseason. It continued in these 3 areas here because there was questions with all these guys for the upcoming season as we were coming into the offseason.
And all key contributors.
Yeah, all key contributors. Nobody knew for sure what was going to happen with them. And we locked them all up for this next season so we could try and make a Super Bowl run. So
yes. Yeah, I mean, look, the Browns have done everything right all offseason long. Anything that we would have been bitching about or moaning about, like, they put a stop. They said, look, we'll just re-sign these guys. We'll restructure contracts. We'll save cap money here and there. They've done a great job.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, yeah, I mean, and again, I just go back to it just feels so weird.
Yeah, it doesn't feel right.
Since when are the Browns a well-run organization?
I feel like I should have something to complain about.
Yeah, I want to complain.
And I don't have any.
I mean, I don't really want to complain, but I just, because it's in my nature to, at this moment, complain about everything that's happening, I want to complain.
The one thing maybe that I could complain about.
You?
Yeah.
No. I'm saying that's the one thing I would complain about is you.
Oh, thanks. The one thing I could complain about, if I had to pick something from this offseason.
What is it?
Is that it was recently announced that Kevin Stefanski will continue to call plays.
Yes.
I'll give him some leeway because he's a 2-time coach of the year.
Oh, I'm 2-time coach of the year, Kevin Stefanski.
But like you brought in Ken Dorsey, we've heard about this new offense and how revamped it's going to be. That's my only concern really, I guess, for play calling is like it's still Kevin calling the plays.
Listen, Stefanski. If you hadn't continued to call plays, you'd have had so much leeway for the Stefanski-Stefanik meter here.
Oh, yeah. As soon as you call a bad play, you're out again.
I don't know about that, but I'm giving you you have 2 weeks in a row to start the season where you're calling bonehead plays. We're doing 3 reverses a game, and the difficulty level on every play is 9.7.
Hopefully, when our quarterbacks
you're going to become Stefanik real quick.
When our quarterbacks aren't PJ Walker and DTR, we won't have to do so many trick plays.
That's fair. Yeah, and so now the Browns, of course, are down in West Virginia for the 2nd year in a row, having training camp at the Greenbrier. But this year the Greenbrier hasn't really cooperated with the Browns. Last year was fantastic. Everybody loved it. It was great. They had good weather. It was warm, all that stuff.
It sounds like the guys are still enjoying it, but it sounds like objectives aren't necessarily being met
I'm saying like even that part of it, nothing like everything that they wanted to accomplish last year from what they said coming out of training camp they were able to do. This year, the hills of West Virginia are a cool 70, like right around 70 degrees. Stefanski talked about
the players have to like.
As a former player, not nearly at the NFL level, I hated when you guys remember even go back all the way to high school. You guys remember two-a-days and like 95
outside.
degrees. Yeah. So
if it's over
stupid.
90, you're just
miserable.
You're toast.
Like you had to weigh in before you started, when you came in, when you went back out, and when you came back in because they're like, we don't want you guys to die.
There were days guys would lose 18 pounds.
Stupid. So stupid. But yeah, so it's been cool over there. Stefanski talked about how specifically he wanted it to be hotter so the guys could start to acclimate for early season expectations in Dallas. Or against Dallas, I should say, and in Jacksonville.
Yeah, I mean September in Cleveland, it's still going to be warm. I mean,
my birthday, we've talked about this before. It always is. My birthday falls typically right between the start of college football and the start of the NFL season,
Yeah.
depending on which weekend they throw them on. But it's almost always right in the middle of them.
But I don't respect you.
Well, that's true. But I was just saying, my birthday multiple times in the past 10 years has been the hottest day of the year.
Yeah, I mean, it's still summertime in Cleveland. I mean,
Yeah.
it's still there for another month. So,
Yeah.
to Stefanski's point, I mean, he's looking at a guy, he wants those 90-degree days, so those guys are acclimated to playing in the heat in the early season.
Yeah. And so some of the other issues down there, no indoor facility, padded practices had to be pushed back in lieu of individual drills.
Because it rained.
Because the rain, yeah. And then just a couple different things. Like, it's not quite going as smoothly, and it's not a well-oiled machine like they would want it to be. So, I mean, are these big problems? What do you guys think? Is it the end of the Greenbrier experience?
I mean, it's certainly not good to not be able to get into like your team drills and padded practices, right? I mean, at this point in the season, like this is the first time the teams really come together. You've got your OTAs and minicamp, but there's a lot of guys missing from those events or not participating. You finally have the team together and you're trying to put together team drills and do padded practices and you can't. That's not good.
Yeah.
This time is so valuable to install of all those things. And really they've been installing all season, but it's the execution of the install, right? They want to be able to see it. The coaches want to see it on the field. And if you can't do it, that's not good. So maybe the Browns will build a dome out there in Greenbrier Hills.
I didn't even think about that, but like,
they should just get one of those big inflatable ones, like the big.
They look like Cincinnati
golf driving ranges, Yeah, Cincinnati did that, didn't they?
Yeah. What do you think, Bo? You think this hurts their camaraderie and kind of the team building that they're doing down there?
I mean, they're still down there together, right? So one's missing out. They're all missing out on this kind of thing. So
that's true.
I don't know, but
listen,
getting that time together and as a team is probably vital.
I just think it'll make them think twice about going back next year.
Yeah,
because you don't want to be missing that time.
Yeah, and I'll say this. So this is my big thing is I honestly don't know, and I think there's been some other ex-players that have talked about this. I don't understand how teams get ready with the way that they treat practices and everything else. Now, like, even with the padded practices, even if you had them, like, you can only do so much. You can only do this. You can only do that.
They've limited a lot of their ability to practice.
I don't know how you're ready to go week one, to be honest with you.
Well, frankly, they aren't, right? That's why the first month of the season is such a shit show.
It's just so trash. Like, there's just penalties everywhere.
Yeah.
The game looks slow. Like, it's...
Yeah, I mean, it's not until you get into the fall that really football starts to become football again.
Well, that's why it's like all this talk of... And I know they're going to it, and I actually am for it because I love football, but 18 games is going to be happening, right? And then getting rid of another preseason game and having an extra bye week. The extra bye week is fantastic. That helps a lot.
Well, and to me, it makes those preseason games more valuable, too, to try and get some of your starters out and get them some practice in real reps.
Where I was going with it is, like, I like how they do that, but it's really the first 4 games of the season are just going to be the preseason now.
Well, and that's how it's been for a while anyway.
And not the preseason like we're used to. Like, it's a meaningful preseason, quote unquote.
A lot of the starters and key players don't even play in the preseason, so...
Yeah. I don't know. It's just it makes football a lot more difficult to watch those first few weeks, I would say. I mean, the Browns. I watch the Browns even when they're the shittiest team in America, which they were for a long time.
It just throws things awry because bad teams sometimes look good early in the season, and then it screws up everything for the rest of the year.
Yeah,
Yep.
But yeah, so we'll see if the Greenbrier, if they stick around there. I mean, hell, we might be building a dome soon, so they might just move down to Columbus for a little while.
Are they building the dome in Columbus?
I don't know. I was just thinking if they do renovations for the stadium in Cleveland is where I was going with that. Well, we might be building Brook Park too, which would be the better option.
I mean, I don't know. Look, I get that they want to do like team building and camaraderie, but like, can they take a canoe trip in the off season or something? Like, they go to Deshaun's, like they go to Jamaica and they do the beach vacations and they run on the beach. Like, do we need to be worried about team camaraderie during training camp? Like, just stay at. They have a beautiful facility over there, Cross Country Mortgage Campus, that they continue to revamp and revitalize. You have indoor, outdoor practicing there.
I can't imagine what the daily price tag on that.
Just do the work.
Yeah, just
like
no frills.
I could care less. Like, all week long on social media, I'm seeing these guys sing country roads. Like, all right, that's fun for a second, but like, do the work.
Yeah.
Come December and January when it's cold and you're fighting for a playoff spot. Like, I don't care about your camaraderie and your team building at the Greenbrier. Like, you guys got to play an extra 18 rounds of golf or 18 holes of golf in the summer. Like, good for you.
Yeah.
do the work.
It is. Speaking of social media, isn't it weird that like every NFL team, it's not just NFL, it's every sport everywhere, college, pros, everything. They're all realizing that they too can make money off of their social medias, and so like now like
2 million followers on
right
Facebook.
now nonstop coming off the field every day from practice, doing every single thing, everything that they do. It's like, hey, can you stop and say something real quick, and then people eat it up. Which I mean, I watch all of them, so I can't really say it.
You're a part of the problem.
I agree. I just find it very interesting because it's so different than what it used to be. It's so different.
True. You had to catch those sound bites on the weekly news at night.
Yep. Yep. But anyways, interview with Andrew Berry this past week with a lot of interesting things coming out of that. Andrew Berry voiced support for a dome stadium.
I'll say this real quick too. Andrew Berry's been very available to the media this week, which I think has been cool.
Yeah.
At the Greenbrier, he's answered a lot of questions.
Did he do that last year?
I don't recall.
Not to this
specifically.
level?
It just feels like he's been very like open with the media for the last few days.
Yeah.
It's been great.
So yeah, support for a dome stadium. He said they're not gladiators, they're athletes, and he prefers to control the elements, but said an open air resolution would be fine too. And ultimately, it's not his decision; it's the Haslam's. So whatever they roll with,
whatever Jimmy and D want to do, he says. I know that they have plans for both. And outdoor would be fine, but thinking about team building and thinking about choosing athletes based on certain criteria, I mean, no brainer to me that he would want to be in a dome.
Yeah. He also tried to temper everyone's expectations with Nick Chubb, and we just talked about this, and how every time it seems like people are getting excited for Nick Chubb, somebody comes out and they're like, hang on a second. And so he said that the team is incredibly pleased with Nick Chubb's progress regarding his health and rehab process, but that he still has a long ways to go.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we got like the Mary Kay report about his cutting drills, and we see the video of him squatting thousands of pounds. I mean, it's hard not to get excited, but
I'm even more excited now.
But Andrew Berry's out there.
Wow, what's the world record for squats?
Whatever it is, Nick Chubb.
Whatever Nick Chubb squatted.
Whatever Nick Chubb squats today.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Listen. Andrew Berry ain't tricking me. Nick Chubb's back week 1, baby. Hell yes. Oh man,
it's so hard.
Anyways,
that sounds like the end of
Andrew Berry also gave some insights as to how they're handling the Deshaun Watson coming back from surgery. That whole situation, he had surgery obviously on his throwing shoulder, so they're trying to ease him back into things. He explained that Deshaun Watson will be getting designated rest days throughout training camp, while also adding that Watson is in a great place both mentally and physically right now.
Yeah.
Now, I know you heard something about this and just kind of where Deshaun's at. So can you comment on that?
Yeah, first I would just say, again, I think this is important that Andrew Berry's been available this week to explain these types of things, right? Because if all of a sudden we're getting reports from just sideline reporters, putting tweets out that says Deshaun's not practicing today, that's worrisome, right? Yeah. But the fact that Andrew Berry has come out and kind of said, hey, look, he had multiple injuries in this shoulder. It's going to take some time before he's totally back to 100%, and we want to make sure that we don't interrupt that process. So we're going to give these rest days. I think is important. But yeah, I have heard from a number of different reporters that they've not seen any deep balls from Deshaun during the opening days of training camp here, which leads us to two questions, which is Deshaun not able to make those throws? Or is this just a part of his scheduled rehab? Maybe they're going to work into longer throws as camp goes on and we get closer to preseason game number 1. But it's becoming a chorus now. It's an echo line of guys saying everything they're doing looks like short stuff, West Coast stuff. Looks like the last game against, I think it was Baltimore, that he got hurt in, that he threw 15 passes, he was 15 or 15 or whatever, but there was all short underneath stuff that he couldn't stretch the field. So my only other take on that, just personally, is I feel like a deep ball is a luxury. Not that you don't want your quarterback to have the ability to do it, but how many deep balls are completed in any given NFL game?
One.
There's a few teams that do it more frequently than others. Teams you think about the Dolphins because of the stable of wide receivers that they have, the Chiefs in years past because again of the talent that they have on the field. But
so basically, you're saying Tyreek Hill.
Guys like Tyreek Hill, right?
Yeah.
They can blow the lid off a defense. But like, do the Browns have a Tyreek Hill on the roster?
No.
I mean, it's going to just blow past DBs
No.
and you can just chuck it up.
Yeah, so I think I agree 100%, and I think this is layered, right? So it's like my very first thing when I saw that and heard that was the dude's literally coming off a shoulder surgery. Like, you really just want him out here in training camp throwing bombs? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, what does that prove to anybody? Honestly, like if he completes a 50-yard pass in training camp, what does that do for anybody? Nothing. So, like, why?
It means somebody got beat.
Yeah, okay, but I'm just saying, like, it doesn't really do anything for anybody right now.
Yeah,
and you've got several weeks before the season starts to ramp those up and start throwing them if you really want to.
And I just think my take on it is like, is Deshaun's arm as strong as PJ Walker's arm last year? Is Deshaun's arm as strong as DTR's arm was last year? Like, we went through some awful quarterback play and we're able to steal games. So if Deshaun is healthy enough to at least be at their level, but has better decision making, better athleticism in the pocket, better accuracy on those short throws,
I feel fine.
Should be okay. And I don't hate the idea of like running more of a West Coast offense. You have a lot of playmakers. Get the ball to these guys in space. I mean, I'm fine with underneath routes and things, crossers and that. There's a time and a place where like you want to make sure that you don't run away from the common sense of like, are we running to the sticks? Like, I hate when it's 3rd and 8 and you throw the 1 yard out. It's like, okay, well, can we get a little closer than that? But I don't mind it on first down.
I take that back. The double reverse.
Worst play on your own 15.
Yeah, worst play of football.
So yeah, look, I just think we're gonna have to wait and see through the rest of the camp. Do we start to see that develop or not? But potential cause for concern early in camp.
Yeah. The other thing, and you kind of hit on it, was just the receivers. Like, we don't have that Tyreek Hill. And Amari Cooper, people will argue.
You have athletes, but they're just not.
Yeah, and people will argue Amari Cooper is like top 3 in the league in deep balls over the last however many years. But at the same time, it's like he's also 30 now. So let's be realistic. I still think he's a phenomenal receiver. I'm very glad that they re-signed him. But you can't just expect him to keep doing that year after year as he hits that 30 mark. So,
or can you?
You can, I guess.
What an idiot!
Yeah, and so one other thing that Andrew Berry talked about was Jerome Ford's absence from camp. I know some people were concerned about that because he missed, 3 days? And so Andrew Berry did confirm that the absence was due to the birth of his child and that he has now rejoined the team as of the morning of the interview that he gave. So he's back with them. Good for him having a baby.
I wish he
didn't have a baby. His wife had a baby.
I wish he just would have went away.
Wow. I mean, me too. I'm not going to lie. Jerome Ford, listen.
Look,
we've said this before. The Jerome Ford experiment is over.
He's a Brown. I'm going to root for him. I just think there's better options.
Yeah. Like anybody.
And maybe we're not giving Jerome Ford like his due credit. Like, he had a number of big plays last year. It just seemed like he would have one big play a game, and then he didn't do anything.
It wasn't even one big play a game. It was like 3 big plays the whole season. If you take those ones away, he averaged like 2.4 yards a carry.
Yeah. Maybe he'll be better this year. Maybe he'll grow on us.
Maybe.
I hope so.
Fungus.
You know when he'll be better?
Jerome Fungus.
Is when Nick Chubb comes back.
He'll be the best then.
Because
I'll be the biggest Jerome Ford fan when he can just spell Nick Chubb.
Because all he has to do is make one big play a game, and they're like, oh, now there's somebody else you got to watch out for.
The thing is I think like Nyheim Hines probably is a better spell for Nick Chubb.
That's exactly what I was just thinking. I feel like he's going to be getting the extra touches if he's healthy.
I mean, Nyheim's just so much more polished of a back than Jerome is.
I like our rookie.
Aiden Robinson, the big man.
Yeah,
I mean, we'll see if he makes the team. There's a lot of running backs out there right now.
He's gonna make the team.
Cut day's coming. Was it like August 27th or something?
He's gonna make the team. I think Jerome Ford gets cut.
That would feel bad if you just had a baby and they're like, see ya.
Thanks.
Oh man.
Yeah. I'm out of a job, honey.
He'd probably find a job somewhere else pretty quickly though, because he's young.
Probably. One thing that was addressed but not actually answered is something that I know we're all wondering here. We've talked about it off air several times, obviously off air because we're back.
We're back.
But will the Browns keep 3 quarterbacks this year? And Andrew Berry, basically what he said, I'm not going to read you the whole quote.
Well, I think it's important first off to note just that Andrew Berry historically has kept 2.
Yeah, right. That's why the reason for the question.
Yes.
But he kind of came out and said, more or less, in years past, I've kept 2. He said, he did say he actually prefers to keep 3, even though he usually has kept 2. And he said it really just shakes down to how everything plays out with everybody and what's best for the team is what they're going to do.
Yeah,
so basically a no answer is what he gave.
I mean, I know he alluded like last year, we had Josh Dobbs on the roster, but then we had a chance to move him. So, but the thing is they have, outside of Deshaun, you have 3 really interesting guys. I mean, between
I think Deshaun and Jameis
is settled as your number 2.
Yeah.
They paid him a decent chunk of money to come here, but DTR is a buried guy because he was drafted by this organization, and Tyler Huntley
got thrown to the wolves because he was our only option last year.
Yeah, I mean, you expect a guy like that to be able to grow, and let's be honest, like the skill set of DTR he was picked because his skill set kind of mimics Deshaun's, or at least what they hope Deshaun's would be. Right. But then you have Tyler Huntley just hanging out there that has probably been the most maybe valuable backup quarterback in the last 3 years across the NFL.
Well, and it's going to sound really mean towards Tyler Huntley, but it's not, because the Pro Bowl is a complete joke. He made the Pro Bowl last year.
Well, he's played a lot of time with Lamar going down, and the thing is he wasn't bad. I mean, he's beat us.
That's what I was going to say. I feel like he's beat us a couple times when Lamar was out.
I mean, I remember just having conversations when we were back in the Baker year. People were like, we should just trade for Tyler Huntley. They were like, let's just make this guy the starter. So even to pare this thing down to 3 is going to be a really tough decision. Like when Madden comes out and I got to cut it down to 3, I don't know who I'm going to pick.
True.
Let's be honest. I'm going to trade for Baker on day 1. So
I fucking hate you. You're my least favorite human, and I do everything with you, and it's ridiculous. And I hate it. I'm rethinking life decisions. Anyways, I think they go. I mean, this is. Nobody really asked for an opinion yet, I guess, but I'm going to say they're going to go with Deshaun Watson, Jameis Winston, and I think they keep DTR.
Well,
and I think Tyler Huntley, assuming he doesn't get picked up by somebody else, I think what they're going to try and do is make him the guy in the practice squad, and then obviously the new rule with the emergency quarterback. So
I don't, because at some point you're ineligible for practice squad after a certain number of years, I believe, too. So I don't know if he's eligible to be placed. So I would think it's almost more likely that if he carries 3, that they keep Tyler Huntley, put DTR in the practice squad, hope he doesn't get picked up. But because the new quarterback, the emergency quarterback rule that they put in place last year has a new caveat for 2024, the teams can promote an emergency quarterback from their practice squad the day of the game. So whereas before they had to be on the 53-man roster the day of the game. So to me, that almost seems like the best case scenario. It's just you wind up in a position where you might lose a piece of talent that you drafted.
Yeah.
But Tyler Huntley is just a veteran guy that
Here is something quick about the eligibility for practice squad.
Yeah.
I just Googled it just a quick, but it says players who do not have an accrued season of NFL experience. So if Tyler Huntley was on an active roster for a whole NFL season, I think you're right. He's not eligible.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Well, yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. My gut just tells me that they still value DTR.
I agree. I mean, we know that Andrew Berry likes to keep his guys around, his guys.
Here's what I will say: I don't think they're keeping 4.
No, that would
be a complete waste.
Has sailed.
Yeah. But anyways,
somebody will be out of a job come August 27th.
Yeah. Next up here, AFC North news. Not really. Again, not new news, but happened since we talked to all of you last. The entire AFC North has been chosen to participate in Hard Knocks in season.
At the end of the season.
At the end of the season. Did they release the dates for it and everything?
Well, it's the last. I think it's starting in November or something, right? It was November through the end of the season. It's during the playoff push.
I don't have to get HBO till December.
Yeah.
Just use my login.
All right.
We'll Netflix this bitch.
Yeah.
No idea what it is. But anyways, interesting, though, that they're doing an entire division. And the funny thing is, I do think that Hard Knocks can be a distraction, especially if things aren't going great for you at that particular moment, right? So, like, say the Browns are going through a rough patch where they're having some injuries, whatever, and they're trying to right the ship, and then here comes fucking Hard Knocks, just like, how about a camera in your face every day?
Yeah.
So that's not good. But what I think this does, it really levels the playing field as far as doing it to the whole division.
True.
So it's like now everybody's going through it. So it's just another thing that, like, all of you guys are going through, so may the best team win.
What I think is really interesting is I think this is going to show which teams have the best leadership. Because if your locker room is tight and people are listening, it's going to
show up on camera.
Coaches, it's going to show up when your win-loss record. I mean, this has the potential to break a team. Like you mentioned, if you're going through adversity and then all of a sudden you have all this publicity and people are in your face every day shooting everything you're doing when things are going wrong, I mean, that can absolutely spiral out of control quickly. I mean, hell, it spiraled out of control for the Browns when they did it to Hugh Jackson. Yeah. Look how they played.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be. I think it'll be really cool. It's going to give us a ton of content.
I was going to say we got a crazy year ahead for us.
Yeah, but B, just because I think this is the most interesting division in football, and C, just because I think being able to see what your opponents are doing at the same time, like I just think it's not really been done before on Hard Knocks. Right, like you're always following one club. I'm also excited because, like, the last time around, it was Browns during training camp, right? So you have all these silly stories about, like, is this guy going to make the roster? Like, this is going to be legitimate football every day, in and out. Like, we're trying to win games. You have your best 53 against our 53, and it's like there's no holds barred. Like, this is a street match now.
Yeah. No, and I do have mixed feelings just because of the distractions that it can cause, but I think for the most part, I'm pretty pumped about this because, like, some of the things I look back on is like last year, right? Even though we were good, we had a lot of like trials and tribulations after Deshaun went down, and DTR had those games where he was somehow winning, but he was getting destroyed. Like, I would have loved to just be a fly on the wall and hear what he would say behind the scenes, like after a game, like, guys, like, what the fuck? Like,
well, even not only that, but just the things in the locker room. I mean, again, you'd be able to see that leadership that kept that team together because they did keep that shit together.
Yeah, and that's the flip side of it,
who
right?
were the voices in that room? Like, I mean, you expect it to be guys like Miles and Kevin, but like, were there other guys that stepped up that were holding that team together? I mean, we don't know, we weren't there, but
Joe
it would be
Flacco.
interesting to see.
Like, what was Joe Flacco's thoughts through this whole thing? Like, did he just come in and be like, I'm not really going to say I don't have a place on this team?
Well, right. He's like, I'm just happy to be here.
Or did he come in? He's like, let's fucking go.
Yeah, like, I'm going to just launch it, so we're going to grab it. We're going to win this game.
Like, just so you guys know, I'm out there throwing bombs. Like, that's what I would have done, but, you know, I'm not an NFL quarterback, so I would throw lots of picks. But, like, yeah, I mean, I would have loved to see what did Stefanski actually say to these guys at halftime, at the end of games.
The good news is you're going to get to see it this year.
We get to see it.
We get to see it.
Oh, boy.
I'm hard for Hard Knocks.
Whoa.
Hell yes.
It's a good thing I'm sitting in front of a table.
Yeah, nobody wants to see that. Don't worry, it won't reach the table. Anyways, next up here, we got the Hot Three.
The Hot Three?
Hot Three.
What is the Hot Three?
I'm going to let a sounder play first. The Hot Three.
Hot Three.
Gonna turn it up, hot. I'm hot to the touch, burning up. I'm hot to the touch. I'm hot to the touch, burning up. I'm hot like fire, 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 fire.
All right, so the Hot Three. This is a new segment this year where we pick a category, any category, and we can rotate who does it. We'll just throw it out there the day of the show, right?
I would say if you have suggestions for your Hot Three.
Yeah, if anybody wants to tell us.
Comment them on social media.
Comment on social media, or you could call the Hot Take Hotline.
But just to give us a quick break from football every now and then.
Yeah. So it's just a category, and we all have to give our Hot Three, or basically our top three in that category. So from there, you could tell us, again, on social media, we'll post these on social media every week. You could tell us who's right, who's wrong, what we missed, all that stuff. Tell us what your Hot Three would be. Just want to get involved with you guys and see what you think. So this week, Jim Carrey movies.
I like it.
I love Jim Carrey, by the way.
We all do. Who doesn't? He's a national treasure.
He is a national treasure.
Bone.
Protect Jim Carrey at all costs.
Bone, top three Jim Carrey movies. We'll start with your. It's descending. So
Okay.
number one is your favorite.
Sure.
Start with 3.
Okay. All right. So I think this is going to be a wild card for you guys. I don't know if anybody's going to say this. So I got The Truman Show coming in number 3.
Love
And
the Truman
man,
Show.
do I love The Truman Show.
I love the Truman Show.
Yeah, picturesque little town. I actually drove through it down on the Panhandle. You can do that down.
You got in
down
the
on,
dome and
down
drove
on
through
30A.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no dome.
Oh,
I was
okay.
able to just drive right through. But it
Wait.
was a picturesque, perfect little town.
There's like the actual town they filmed in is
yeah,
really
yeah. It's right up the street from Rosemary Beach in the Panhandle.
Who
I
knew?
think it's called Seaside. I'm pretty sure.
I'll have to make a trip out of that sometime. That sounds interesting.
It was cool.
Truman Show is definitely up. I'm not going to reveal my top 3, but I mean, I think it's one of the most interesting Jim Carrey movies
Yeah.
ever made.
Yeah. Number 2.
Number 2, Ace Ventura.
Nice.
I love Ace Ventura. Just hilarious. All the noises. NFL ties with Dan Marino.
Let's hear that one in reverse.
Finkel and Einhorn and Finkel.
I mean, Ace Ventura you couldn't make today.
Yeah.
Oh no, absolutely
gosh.
There's
not.
something about those types of comedies that
The bulge
no.
in the captain's pants.
Oh man, the birthing out of the rhino. That's when nature calls. But that's
Yeah.
wow.
All right, and then obviously Dumb and Dumber is number 1.
Yeah, okay.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
So.
Mock,
Yeah.
ing,
Yeah.
bird,
Yeah.
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 Mocking bird, don't everybody have you.
Guys!
I love it.
Perfectly
I
done.
love it. I'll go next. I actually do know that Kenny is probably one of the biggest Jim Carrey fans around. So
love Jim Carrey.
I'm going to save you for last. I'm going to go number 3, Liar Liar.
Good one.
Can't argue that one.
Fletcher.
So good.
The goddamn pen is blue. That's one of my favorite. I particularly love the chase scene at the end when he's on the thing at the airport, chasing down the plane.
Yeah, when he's able to drive stairs 200 miles an hour to catch up to the airplane.
Yeah, and he just flies over, and they show him when he crashes through all the suitcases, and the thing's just around his nose, just classic Jim Carrey. And then my favorite line in the whole movie, I'm kicking my ass.
kicking my ass.
Do you mind? 5'10", kind of gangly. And then The Mask at number 2.
That's an interesting choice.
Great choice.
I think that's another one that you probably can't make today. There's a lot of racy jokes in that
True.
one. But it's just, to me, that was one of the first ones that I ever saw with Jim Carrey, was The Mask.
I can see how that
Which
would
I'm surprised. Shame on my mom for letting me watch that. And looking back now, again, lots of racy jokes in that. So I was, 1994, I was 4 years old. So thank you, Mother.
Did you have a crush on Cameron Diaz at that point?
Oh, yeah.
It's probably like one of your first crushes, yeah.
Yeah,
Cameron
absolutely.
Diaz.
And she wasn't just in that. She was in multiple great movies around that time. So
Sure.
it's,
We might have to do Cameron Diaz.
oh, yeah.
Top
She's on
3.
it. Yeah, definitely. And then number 1, Dumb and Dumber. Mock.
Yeah.
So there you have it. Kenny, what do you got?
Well done, well done. I'm probably going to throw you for a loop here on this first one because I think this is a very underrated Jim Carrey movie.
Truman Show was. I almost put that in my top 3.
Truman Show, it was really hard for me
Yeah.
because Truman Show is just so classic. But I'm going to start my list off number 3 with Yes Man.
Ooh.
Oh, really?
Yes Man. Zoe Deschanel. Like when you think about Zoe and Jim Carrey, like
Freaking Joey.
Joey and Zoe, Jim and Zoe, like the age difference is so noticeable, but their chemistry was so fire in that movie that I just like. I love.
No cap, bro. No cap.
I
It's a
would
great
watch that movie every day when it's on TV. So love Yes Man. Number 2, Liar Liar. It's gotta be on the list.
Yes.
It's gotta be on-
What's your favorite line?
my favorite line from I
actually thought of another one, and this probably is your favorite line. Remember, we've been friends for a long time. I know you better than most people, probably more than you know yourself. Sometime I think your favorite line of Liar Liar is "Yeah, in your bra."
That is my favorite. That is my yes, and I use that on a daily basis, and no one knows what I'm talking about. Every time somebody's doing
I use it on a daily basis
a
as well.
unit of measure. Yeah. In your bra. So fun beginning to end. Also, super underrated babe, Maura Tierney, the chick from ER. that his wife in the show.
Nice.
Like, I've always had a thing for her. I did grow up watching ER.
Let's be honest. Who don't you have a thing for?
I'm just saying, like, you don't, like, when you're taking like a top like 5 babes, you don't put more Tierney on the list like I would.
I think that's an excellent point.
She's very underrated.
That's fair.
It's not like she's like racy or wears like anything provocative in it. I mean, she's just got a classic like wholesome beauty.
Pretty lady.
And then number 1, Dumb and Dumber. Right? It's the single most quotable movie in the history of cinema.
Are you ready, Harry?
Period. So you're telling me there's a chance? Like, there's no better.
We landed on the moon.
every line of that is so perfect.
Big gulps, huh?
To the point where, like, growing up,
I just used it today. So we'll get to this more later, but you guys know all the stuff that went wrong at my house today. AC went out, tree fell down, all that good stuff. I texted my wife. I said, the AC's out, a tree fell down, our pets' heads are falling off.
I went through an actual obsession with this movie in my like early teen years, where I watched it every day before bed. It would be on back when I had a VCR.
Yeah,
I would put that tape in the VCR to go to sleep every night.
It went straight from this to A Knight's Tale.
Just osmosis into my brain, like all those lines to like where I could recite them all, just the entire movie without seeing it. Like to the point where I actually made a website one time. This is weird. I made a website one time that I was about my love for Dumb and Dumber. And like this was back in like the MySpace and like what was before MySpace, like the Zanga journals and stuff, where like we were like secretly learning how to code without knowing how to code.
MySpace, you could really get into coding.
Yeah. But I made this website, and basically like the objective was like I wanted to take a pilgrimage to Aspen to like relive the experience. Like in my 10-year-old brain, I thought that was a cool thing to do. But
you get a lot of traffic?
I don't think so. But there's probably a webpage out there somewhere about my love for Dumb and Dumber.
Still there, huh?
What a great.
You probably let that domain expire out. Yes,
probably.
Feels bad.
I don't even think like that.
Gone to oblivion.
I don't even think that was like in a point where they were like charging you for domains. Like this was like early.
You're like, this is my domain now.
Like I had an AOL screen name, and I was like,
this is before cyber squatters got the idea of like I'm going to take this domain and nobody can have it.
Right. Yeah. You can just like open
Target.com. That's mine until Target pays me.
That's right.
Fair.
So that's our top 3. Hot 3.
That's the hot 3 for the week.
Let us know whether you agree, disagree.
I like that. I like the hot 3.
You like it?
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
This is new state.
Something to give us a little levity to the show sometimes, because sometimes talking about the Browns can be hard.
Yeah. But yeah, real quick here, want to remind everybody about the Nick Chubb football giveaway. Woo! It's right here. It's a little hard to see in the camera with all the lights and everything because the ball is white.
And there is an autograph.
And there's an autograph on it. You might be able to see it, but there's an autograph on there. So for the second offseason in a row, the Browns offseason, it was our offseason.
We have pictures of it online.
Yeah, we got pictures.
Yeah, you can check it out.
We'll throw some pictures up there. But anyways, second offseason in a row, we're giving away some autographed Browns memorabilia, and it just so happens that for the second year in a row, we're giving away some Nick Chubb autographed memorabilia. And it's, again, the Nick Chubb autographed football this year. The winner will be chosen from our YouTube subscribers. There's a link on all our social medias that you can go to get signed up and make sure you're earning any of the bonus entries as well. I will say this, even if you don't go through that link, I am picking from our YouTube subscribers. So you are already entered if you are subscribed. There are other ways that you can earn the bonus entries, like I just mentioned. Head to our social media pages to keep an eye out for all that. Multiple ways. But the big thing is, you got to be subscribed. Have to be subscribed on YouTube. It is particularly a competition for our YouTube subscribers.
And why wouldn't it be on YouTube, since that's the only place you can find full episodes of the Burning River Sportscast.
Right. Our video podcast. The only place you can find our video podcast.
Along with tons of reels and other fun things.
Hell yes. And so the link for that, again, for the giveaway is in our show notes, or just use the handle at Burning River Sportscast if you're on YouTube to find us. And with that, let's take a quick revenue break, and then we'll get back here and we'll talk more Browns.
I'm in.
Towpath Distillery. Towpath Distillery, an award-winning craft distillery located in Akron, Ohio. Towpath Distillery focuses on high-quality spirits carefully made in small batches. Towpath's lineup includes an ultra-smooth, award-winning premium vodka, a small batch silver rum made from the highest grade molasses, an American craft gin made with 9 botanicals, and a blended straight bourbon made from corn and rye. Towpath Distillery, now available locally and in 46 states. Visit towpath-distillery.com to place your order online or find an OHLQ retailer near you. Towpath Distillery, handcrafted, award-winning, small batch, local, and family-owned. I'll just let that keep rolling.
Yeah. Interesting timing for a Towpath advertisement.
Why? Oh, yeah.
Because we're going to talk about it next in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, are we rolling now? Is that what you're going?
Yeah. We're going to keep doing the show until it's over.
Okay. Say that again.
Interesting timing for a Towpath advertisement.
It actually is interesting timing for a Towpath advertisement. You know why?
I'm leaving the whole thing in.
I fucking hate you. Anyways, Burning River Sportscast upcoming events here. So we have a pretty big event coming up at the end of August, right?
Hell yes.
Hell yes. Our first of what we hope to be many more season preview parties. It will be at Towpath Distillery that's located inside the Merchant Tavern in Akron, Ohio. So tickets to this thing, you do have to buy tickets. They're $35. And what that includes is party admission, front row seats to watch us record our season preview episode, meet and greets with former Browns players. We've got John Hughes and Frank Stamms for you. Meet and greet with Browns on-field MC Bridget Linton. Autograph sessions with the Browns players, distillery tour, distillery tastings, and then there's also additional food and drink available for purchase. So basically what I'm trying to say is come have a kick-ass time as we kick off Brown season. Again, link in the show notes there. Make sure you get signed up, get a ticket. It's going to be fun.
So much good here. I mean, it's going to be fun, right? We're going to be rearing to go, getting ready for the Brown season. It's going to be a week away.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
And look, I don't know, like if you haven't had the chance to meet John Hughes, one of the most genuine dudes, bone peed back to back with John Hughes on the Browns fan cruise earlier this year.
You should clarify what that means.
they were in urinals back to back.
There you go.
Because cruises have limited space for bathrooms.
Yeah.
They're made weird.
John Hughes is a big man. I'm surprised.
John Hughes is a big man. And Frank Stamms is just probably one of the most hilarious.
Big stature-wise. That's what I'm saying. Anyways.
He's a big man. And Frank Stamms is just one of the most hilarious, just like fun-loving human beings you've ever met.
Dude's a party. He's a walking party.
And for anybody that hasn't met Bridget, you've maybe heard her or seen her at Browns games.
If you haven't heard her or seen her in general lately, do you live under a rock?
Yeah,
she's doing golf events. She's on commercials. She's everywhere. She's at the freaking car wash when I go to the car wash.
She's everywhere. Tons of fun and killer Irish dancer.
World class, actually.
World class. Yeah. We learned that about her. Yeah. Actual world class Irish dancer.
It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be doing.
On top of that,
there's more?
Yeah. You're at one of the best dining establishments, probably in all of Greater Akron, at the Merchant. Great food, great drinks. And
I suggest everybody buys a hot chicken sandwich if you're into that sort of thing.
I like everything on the menu. I can't discriminate. And you get the distillery tour. I mean, you get to see where these amazing spirits are made. You get to taste them. It's going to be a hell of a time.
Yeah, and while you're there, I mean, you mentioned the tastings. After the tasting, I guarantee you're going to want a bottle of something because all of their spirits are fantastic. So
you won't want to leave empty-handed.
They are available at the distillery. Another event we have coming up, the New Orleans True Fan Travel Trip.
True Fan Travel.
So you heard that right. Burning River Sportscast will be joining True Fan Travel as they take over New Orleans in the Superdome. And so that trip is from November 15th to November 18th, I believe, are the dates. It's a Friday through a Monday.
Fly back on Monday morning.
The event includes optional round trip private charter flight. 3-night stay at Renaissance New Orleans. What is this? I don't know how to say French words. Pet Marquette French Quarter. We also get the welcome party. That's an all-inclusive cruise down the Mississippi River with
another Browns fan cruise.
Well, what can we say? We basically are the face of the Browns fan cruise.
We are the face of cruises for the Browns.
Yeah.
Unofficially.
Yeah, unofficially, obviously. Q&A with Kevin Mack.
Kevin the Maxter.
There's going to be a pep rally. There's going to be an all-inclusive tailgate, tickets to the game at the Superdome, and then on-site trip coordinators to handle any questions or issues that may arise while you're there. So not only are they sending you, they're also taking care of you the whole time you're there.
I'm going to get so many beads.
You got big boobs. So people are going to like you. Yeah.
Look, I am so excited about this trip. True Fan has been great to work with, and we're going to get to see firsthand the type of party that they put on. Cannot wait for this, especially the river cruise, and then the game itself is going to be an awesome time.
Hell yeah! Super Bowl is at the Superdome this year.
Yeah, so we might have to go back.
Yeah, we might have to see the Superdome twice in 1 year.
And I've just never been to New Orleans.
Me neither. I'm looking forward to all the Cajun food and gumbo.
And I know you just kind of went through like the whole package, but like the whole idea is like this is an all-inclusive away game, right? It's kind of like you're going to a home game, but in another city. So you get to go out and explore this new cool city, but you're getting all the stuff that you might be able to. You were planning to do at like a normal Browns game. You're getting your tailgate, all that stuff, but it's all included. Your food, your drinks.
It's like we're groupies, but it's taken to a whole nother level.
Whole nother level.
Yeah,
yeah. It's gonna be fun.
Hell yes, this thing's gonna be lit. Yeah, man. New Orleans is going to be the shit.
It's going to be lit. Yeah. And I'm going to get so many beats.
Oh, yeah.
Also, I'm excited to have some actual New Orleans beignets.
Ooh, beignets. Yeah.
And, I mean, I'm going to eat the shit out of beignets like every day. I'm going to be like, where's the beignet place?
We're going to be like, where'd Kenny go? He's getting more beignets.
I'm getting more beignets.
I can't wait for all the food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cajun food is some of my favorite.
Did you ever see the Impractical Jokers where Joe was a human beignet and it covered him in flour and sugar and they made people suck on him in the street?
No, that sounds great.
That'll be me.
That sounds great. Hey, speaking of punishments, me and Bone have been thinking. And
what have you been thinking?
We've been thinking. We don't worry about it. Let me just tell you we've been thinking. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Let me just say this. Before we start King of the North this year, we're going to name the punishment beforehand so the loser knows and can look forward to this, because I've just been living in fear as to what this surprise punishment is going to be. So,
Bon, we've got some ideas right now, right?
We've put out a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
I guess I'll find out.
I'll give you one clue. It is one of the ideas that we've said on air at one point or another.
Well, we've mentioned about 8,000, so...
Well, I gave you a clue, so...
Appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Dick.
Speaking of punishments and how angry you're going to be, let's talk about Gassed Up.
Talk about Gassed Up?
Let's get gassed up.
Let's get gassed
up.
Let's get gassed up. So let's remind everybody, Gassed Up.
What's Gassed Up?
This is just a segment.
I don't even know how to lead into it. I'm so excited.
This is basically free for all segment. Generally about something that maybe is pissing us off or just rubbing us the wrong way, or it could just be something that we're overly excited about. Even
I'm always getting rubbed the wrong way.
You gotta rub me the right way.
Let's start with you.
So yeah, I will start. I was just thinking, I mean, we talked about watching the Olympics, the opening ceremonies. Bros. The Olympics are just insane.
Yeah.
The countries are literally just, like, every day just bombing each other. Just war, just taking over, just killing each other. Doing the most unthinkable of human atrocities. And then we're like, let's just play some sports real quick to take the edge off.
Every 4 years, all's forgiven.
Like, why don't we just settle this as a soccer match?
Like, seriously, it does beg the question, like, for example, one of probably the most well-known of recent memory is Ukraine and Russia, right? Well,
Russia's been banned.
But aren't they still competing under...
Ukraine is. I don't think the Russian had any contingent there at all.
They didn't send any?
But, like, the Palestinians and the Israelis do.
There you go. So that's, like, probably the most well-known conflict in history, so...
Yeah, well, and especially right now. Like, it's in the middle of, like... I mean, like, buildings burning every day. Like, it's a big deal. But, like, literally, we all just stop and we're just like, let's forget all that. Let's just, like, play some table tennis.
You guys want to hang out?
Like, just thinking about that, I'm just like, what is this world?
Yeah. What do you think about some of the new events, like parkour?
It seems like every year they add. I was just telling Christine, my wife, about that, like break dancing and stuff, like it's like an Olympic sport now. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I kind of long for the olden days of like actual sports, but I'd like to see something like bowling added.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. I'd watch it.
I felt like it was a long time coming for golf to be added, which they finally did, which is good.
Yeah.
So like, some inclusion is good, but some of these things, I don't know how you parkour. Like, I don't know how you like score that. Like,
very carefully.
I don't even understand really how you score like surfing, because I was thinking about this the other day. It's like, every wave kind of has to be like a snowflake, right? Like, not every wave is the same. They're different heights. They move at different speeds depending on what the wind's doing.
Well, that's what you supposedly you could read that. So it's like that's part of your score is you got to be able to catch the right wave.
And maybe you're right. Like, I don't have any idea.
I have no idea how surfing works. So I'm just
do that. But I'm just like, how can you score an event where, like, if you run the 400, everybody runs the 400. If you throw a discus, everybody throws the same weighted disc. Like, how do you measure somebody? Like, what if their wave just sucked? They're like, this is the one I took. Oops.
Should have picked a different one.
I guess.
Yeah.
But like, I don't understand how you even score something. So like, parkour kind of like falls into that to me too, where it's like, I don't know. I don't understand how you.
My wife and I also had a similar
things.
conversation, and we were just talking about it. And I said, you know, I get why they bring these in and why they're almost like experimental sports, and sometimes they're only in one or two
Try
times.
to get more eyes on it.
Try and get more eyes on it. And I think the biggest goal, you kind of mentioned it, and you questioned it, but you also mentioned it, was the whole reason for the Olympics is to bring
the
world together and have like a thing where like that's the whole point of it, is just to bring everybody together. And so breakdancing, for example, is one where breakdancing has been very popular across the globe. And so, like, do they bring it in to say, like, I think it's on like a trial run now, more or less. And they say, how many countries sent a team to compete? How many, like, does this bring everybody together, or was this just like we did this once and it didn't really do anything?
You probably pop the intrigue of people like me that are like, I've never watched breakdancing like in a competition in my life, but like, that's in the Olympics and it came on primetime TV. Maybe I'll watch this and maybe I'll like it.
Is it like glorified America's Next Best Dance Crew?
Or like just, what's the other one? Dancing with the Stars, kind of like just dance competition. Like, yeah, I don't know. The other thing I just think you were talking about, like bringing the world together, I always think is interesting. Is
we
like,
are the world.
Some of these countries that send contingents of like.
Nobody wanted that one.
I don't know that song.
They'll send. No one doesn't know that song. Wow.
Oh my gosh, that's one of my favorite video like meme things or whatever you call those, like where Michael's getting pissed off at everybody not being able to sing.
Yeah, that's good. But anyway, speaking of like bringing the world together, I always find it funny that like some of these countries, smaller countries, they don't have a ton of athletes. They'll send like a contingent of 4, and they'll have like one guy that's like a super archer, and like he'll win the silver medal in archery and go be like a national hero for like Slovenia. But like he got beat by an American that drives through Uber, like just because he happened to be good at archery. Like,
I thought I'd try this when I was 17 years old. Turns out I was pretty good.
I was pretty good at it. Like nobody knows that guy, but like in Slovenia, that guy, he's a freaking dope ass hero.
Yeah, it is wild.
The Olympics are just crazy, man. That's what I'm gassed up about.
Yeah. Okay. Bone, you gassed up about anything?
Man,
You don't know how to follow that up.
Yeah. Well, I was getting into something that I'm a little gassed up about it. At my workplace, we have an ongoing issue, just kind of like, PC culture workplace where you can't like yell at people anymore because you'll get in trouble by HR. You can't just fight people anymore because you'll get fired.
It's frowned upon in the workplace.
We used to settle things with fists in this country.
We just have grown men constantly telling on each other at my workplace. And it is just the most pathetic thing I've ever witnessed in my life. Like, even like on one side or the other, like
how many of them listen to the podcast?
If I don't know if any of them do, but it's
damn it, you're supposed to say all of them.
It just blows my mind that there's so many grown men telling on each other, and I think it spawns from this culture that just our workplaces have created, where everything you do you can get in trouble for.
Yeah,
and it's just that's your only outlet to solve an issue,
right?
Just grown men telling on each other. So it's just pathetic.
I just can't fathom a world in which I would tell on another adult. Like,
you know how you saw that?
Like unless like you were committing like you were stealing money from the company, right?
Sure.
Like if you're like extorting thousands of dollars, like
you kind of have an obligation there.
If you extorted like $150, I probably wouldn't care. But if I found out like it was affecting my paycheck or my ability to work here in the future,
well, here's a question: what if he's extorting thousands of dollars, but he's giving you like a quarter of it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably still not telling on that guy. Like, there's a lot of reasons why I wouldn't tell on a guy.
Yeah.
Like, It's,
I mean, we have an ongoing issue right now about air conditioning, and a lot of us work outside in the heat. And there's one individual who works in an office, and his office doesn't get cold enough. So he opens the door to the lunchroom where the thermostat is, letting all the heat in to keep it running constantly throughout the day.
Smart guy.
Yeah, but it's like
Ingenuity.
It gets under
like
people's
that.
skins, so they're, because they don't want the doors open.
Right.
So there's this ongoing issue with the air conditioner, and it's just like
And he's like, make my office colder. I won't open the door.
it's just it's insane. It is crazy.
This
That this goes
grown
on.
men tattletaling on each
Yes.
other.
Dang,
Yes.
feels bad.
That is
feels bad.
worthy of being gassed up about.
You guys want to know what gets me gassed up?
Yeah.
Home ownership.
Ah,
There's pros and cons to that.
There's a lot of cons, and right now I'm going through all of them. So about, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, we had a leak in the dishwasher, and it was a slow leak. But 3 weeks ago was when it all came to a head. Like, we didn't know it was leaking. It had been leaking for months, we're pretty sure. But we just found out 3 weeks ago. But the entire...
That's usually how problems happen, right?
Yeah. All of a sudden we walk in and like we notice, like, you know how like when something happens gradually, you don't really know what's going on. Like you're
Yeah,
like
till your
you
roof
don't
falls
you don't
in.
notice it, right?
Yeah.
So you're like, So the flooring on our kitchens was like discoloring over time. But like it's like very minimal amount each day. So you're like, I don't know
Your
what's
eyes don't
happening.
really see it.
But then all of a sudden you go on vacation and you come home and you're like, what the why is my floor black? it's a like a reddish, like a honeyish reddish colored oak floor. Why is it black? Well, it's because there's lots and lots of water damage underneath.
I would say if it's black, that would be noticeable.
Yeah. So it was, and I'm talking like, and it wasn't to the point where there was like mold and stuff yet, but it was black because just when wood gets wet, right?
Yeah.
So, I had to tear up the entire floor in my kitchen all the way around. And replace the floor in my kitchen. Luckily, there was a bright side to this. Everybody gets mad when people leave stuff at their house when you move in, right? We moved in December, left all this random flooring down in the basement. I was like, damn it, there's just all shit laying around.
I knew you were going to need it.
Came in handy. I had the exact amount to the board of what I needed.
Did you fix the leak first?
I did fix the leak first. Yes, I did. I fixed the leak. I dried everything out. I did all that. So I did that, and I was like, okay, I felt pretty proud of myself, right? I'm like, okay, I fixed
That's one of the pros of home ownership.
Yeah.
Right? You get the satisfaction
I was like, this happened.
I fixed something.
I was like, this happened. Didn't panic. I was just like, you know what? This is what I got to do. I know what I'm doing. It was kind of difficult.
You kind of feel like a man when you fix
whatever.
Like that.
Yeah.
Ronnie the Toolman jams.
Yeah, see, now you're getting it. I actually taught my daughter, who's 20 months old. I taught my daughter I ask her, what do we say? And she goes, so anyways, and then I say, what else do we say? And she says, more power. But
everybody needs more power.
yeah. But anyway, so like I fixed that. I'm pretty proud of myself. So again, a positive.
Sure.
Right? But this is about what I'm gassed up
Turning
about.
a negative into a positive.
This is about what I'm gassed up about. So that happened. And then a couple weeks later, we decide we're going to paint, I don't know, every room in our house. Okay, we didn't paint every room, but we painted 3 rooms. And I hate painting. And it was terrible. And then right after that, what happened yesterday? Our AC, in the middle of 95-degree weather, our AC decides there's going to be a power surge in our area, and our AC is going to get just fried. We have no air conditioning. It's 85 degrees in my house. I'm trying to put a baby to sleep in 85-degree weather. You guys ever had that experience where it's 85 degrees in your house?
I would lose it.
Yeah.
It was awful. She was not having it. She was upset. She was hot. She was sweaty. She was sticky. She finally got to bed. And literally the entire night, she's just tossing and turning. My wife can't take her eyes off the monitor because it's like, oh gosh, it's so hot in her room. We don't know what to do. We didn't really have any time because we were away all day. We came home. We found out about it at like 9:30 at night. So I'm just
And
like,
little people are more sensitive to temperature changes.
yeah, it was
Especially when it's
awful.
hot.
So my daughter slept terribly. It was just awful. Wake up today, giant tree fell in our backyard. So I'm like this tree, and we knew it was going down. Like California is going down. We've been telling people for months, like, this tree is not looking good. But everybody told us there was nothing to worry about. The roots had reestablished themselves, even though it looked like it was coming out of the ground. It actually wasn't.
You should call that guy and have him cut it
Yeah, well, he's a shithead. But the tree did fall. The only good news out of this whole thing is insurance will cover my air conditioning unit.
Solid.
And the tree did not hit anything.
This is your yearly reminder to make sure you're up on your insurance policy and your home ownership.
Yeah, so make sure you do that. I will be spending the next month and a half cutting up a giant tree. So thank you for that. My wife suggested a post-Olympics party where we invite teams of 2 over and get the long saws and have them saw up sections of it and see who wins. So
the lumberjack competition.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm pissed off at my house right now.
Is there a lumberjack competition?
No.
That's still just for lumberjacks.
You remember when they used to have those on TV all the time?
Yeah.
Those were awesome.
So they don't do it in the Olympics?
I liked when they ran up the trees.
Yeah. It's impressive.
It was.
The only person that could do it better was Katniss Everdeen.
Yeah.
And she could climb trees. Nice. Yeah. That's I can't. Bones doing a shocker over there.
You were close. But anyways, light on Browns news today. Obviously, it's the off season. We're getting back into things. We're full swing. We're ready to go.
We're also in training camp.
Yeah. But we'll have more for you next week. We'll be back next week. Let me remind you all before we get going to call the Burning River Sportscast Hot Take Hotline. Don't raise, call, and leave your hot takes on the Hot Take Hotline. Remember, these are hot takes. We want hot takes. We want hot takes. We want hot takes. 330-227-8080.
330-227-8080.
330-227-8080.
330-227-8080. Call now. Operators are
never standing.
not standing by because it's
Still can't afford an operator.
No, yeah, not yet.
Just leave your message.
And be sure to check out our gear once again. www.thetapinmedia.com/shop.
Soon
You're wondering
to
where you
be-
can follow all the or get all those notes or you fucked me up.
Soon to be the Dustin greater than Justin shirts.
Yeah, hell yes. If you're wondering where you can find all these links, is what I was trying to say. Just check our show notes; they're all in there. But that'll do it for us, Kenny. What can we expect next week?
Next week, we'll be back with another show. Still the off season, so we'll probably still be a little bit light on Browns news, but we'll play Hot 3. We'll play Gassed Up. We'll also bring you some facts for days. And obviously follow up any important Browns news. I mean, we want to start the season with training camp so that we could follow along with anything that happens. There's already been a couple injuries and things here and there, things we talked about today. So we want to make sure that we're up to date, bringing you all the best Browns coverage that we can all season long.
And that's it.
And that's it. So we'll continue to keep ramping up throughout the rest of the year, and soon enough, it'll be Brown season.
The big thing here is we're weekly now, so get excited.
We're weekly.
And you can find us on social media. Tapin Media is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at The Tapin Media. And Burning River Sportscast, that's this podcast, is on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Burning River Sportscast, and on X at Burning River Pod. You can find our podcast wherever you get your podcasts. We're talking to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, Stitcher, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Podcast, Castro, Good Pods, and so many more. And Kenny, do you know what? Take us to
Facts
for days.
So facts for days.
This is the first one back in a while, so you better hit us with some knowledge.
I'm bringing you, I'm sticking with the season. It's Olympic season. We're going to talk about some Olympic facts for days. So hope you're ready.
The Hunger Games.
The Hunger Games. That's another good quote.
Yeah.
I use a lot that no one understands.
No.
They're just like, Hunger
At least you are saying the movie that you're quoting.
The Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Anyway, number one. Contrary to popular belief, gold medals are not made from solid gold.
Are you kidding me?
Modern Olympic gold medals are gold-plated and primarily comprised of silver and other metals.
What the hell?
Solid gold medals stopped being produced in 1912. In fact, the average cost of metals to produce a gold medal is approximately $950.
Wait, an actual gold medal or a new gold medal?
The actual gold medals for the Paris Olympics, the gold medals cost about $950.
I was going to say a solid chunk of gold would be way more, so that makes sense that it's only $950.
Yes, the silver medal costs around $500,
That's way cheaper than I would have thought, though.
and $15 for bronze.
That's it.
Now, that's the cost for the precious metals, right? So that goes to, in this case, this year's Paris Olympics, the company that is making it. Think about if Tiffany were making like the medals, right? Like Tiffany's a big jewelry name. Like the company that has fancied the medals and designed them and all that and produced them is the company that does all of the like royal jewelry for France. So It's like a big name. So there's more intrinsic value that gets added based on the fact that like they've put these together. Also, I don't know if you guys noticed this year's medals.
I was going to say it if you didn't.
Includes literal pieces of the Eiffel Tower. So there's iron in these medals as well. And even in the bands, there's lattice work, I guess, in the actual straps that they wear. So pretty interesting medals this year. But
isn't it like a shaved piece from the Eiffel Tower is what they did?
They did some renovations, I guess, to like an elevator shaft, and they just saved all the iron from it. And they're like literally the one side it has like a placard that says like Eiffel Tower or whatever on it.
I just saw like the quick picture of them. They look dope as hell.
But to your point, a solid gold medal, if they were to produce one today, would cost around $40,000.
Wow.
Dang.
Also of note, while we're talking about price, it is estimated that even though like a gold medal may only be cost $1,000 to produce, a gold medal, it's estimated by a PR firm or auction firm that a gold medal that would be sold by a low-level athlete coming out of the Paris Games would sell for around $15,000 to $30,000 on the secondary market.
Whoa.
So
that's a lot.
Money out there, even though the medals themselves aren't solid and aren't that expensive.
That's wild. Should we revisit the whole from episodes past treasure hunter thing? Like, should we do that? Is that something we should look into?
Treasure hunter?
Yeah, because you find like one box of gold, you win.
Oh yes, I agree. We should definitely hunt for treasure.
If we ever make it big, we're gonna bring you. What's our treasure hunting company gonna be called?
Fines for days.
That's the worst name I ever heard of. But Fines for Days at Tappan Media Company.
Number 2. Despite over 200 countries participating in today's Olympics, only 5 countries have competed in every Olympic Summer Games. Can you name any of them?
Greece.
Greece, winner.
Spain.
Italy.
Nope.
Sicily.
Nope.
Russia.
I'd guess. No. They're not in this Olympics.
That's an odd guess. Wait, let me keep guessing. Croatia.
No.
I got one of them, so I don't care.
You did get one. That's
Hungary.
the first one. No, you're wrong again.
Egypt.
I'll give you the rest.
Germany.
Of them. Switzerland, Great Britain, Australia, and France have competed in every Olympic Summer Games.
Probably should have got Great
I
Britain.
almost
Britain,
guessed
France, like the original European countries. Yeah, I would have thought you guys would have went there, but Greece was good. Number 3.
If any question has even a hint of geography, I just get confused because we didn't have geography at our high school.
That's fair. I had to take it in college.
Yeah, so like even though that was more of a history question, there was some geography in there, and I get overloaded because I'm like, I don't know where to even think about.
That's fair. Number 3. Also very relevant because we just watched the opening ceremonies of the Olympics here. So the tradition, that seems like a long-held tradition, of moving the Olympic flame from country to country.
Parkour guy did it this year.
Until it reaches the host nation, seems like just an eons gone by tradition.
Yeah, obviously.
However, this was conceived by German Olympian Karl Diem for the 1936 Summer Olympics in Berlin. Yes, that's right. The Nazis used the torch relay and subsequent games as propaganda, with filmmaker Leni Riefenstahl creating the film Olympia after filming the events. We run the torch marathon in honor of the Nazis.
That needs canceled immediately.
Why hasn't it been canceled yet?
That's kind of what I thought. So that's why I put it in facts for days. Bonus fact.
I don't like the Nazis.
Bonus fact. This one was really interesting. I had no idea. I just thought this was the thing. This is just no thing. The 5 rings.
Bone is fact.
Yeah, bone. Yeah, good. Yeah.
Nice.
No fibulas here.
I brought that back.
The 5 rings on the Olympic flag actually stand for something. They're not just rings.
Hope.
Audi.
No.
Audi.
Audi is not a sponsor. No, they actually represent the
Integrity.
world's 5 inhabited continents, with North and South America being considered one. The Americas. But the rings colors are the most common colors on the country's flags around the world.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting because I always thought it was like the Olympic ring. I was like, I don't know, it's probably some Greek thing, but they're just. That's what it is. So that's facts for days. So that blow your mind?
Wow.
That last one did. That one got me. That was incredible.
Nice.
That was really good.
Yeah. So, I mean, we are back. We are the Burning River Sportscast is back. We're back with facts for days. We're back with lots of fun. We're back with all the advertisements.
Bone, are you tired yet?
I'm tired. I'm happy to be back, but I'm ready to go home and go to sleep. Is that all right?
I accept you.
You guys are all right? Well,
Yeah.
bon appetit then.
Bon appetit. Don't be a part of the problem. Be the whole damn problem.
And only you can prevent river fires.
Burning River Sportscast! Burning River! Rivers! Burning River!
Hey, what were you using to sing out today?
Country road, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country roads. Burning River! Burning River! Wow. I'm going to have to muffle that one.
That was the loudest one ever.
Wow. We are back, baby.
I was excited. I'm sorry.
We are.
I lost my voice.
We are back. We're getting Doug back.
We are the
Doug
3
is-
best friends that anyone could.
Good night, Cleveland.
3 best.
Motorboat? You play the motorboat? You motorboat son of a bitch. You old sailor, you.
You know what I was thinking during that interview?
What? What were you thinking? Nothing, because you don't have thoughts, because you're a brainless idiot.
Wow.
My name is Uhtred, son of Uhtred.
By the way, I want my foreskin back.
It doesn't matter what you think.
Women's Guide to Anal Sex, and it was the 2nd edition. Who makes the second edition?
The weather outside is weather.
The other one, the finger eating food fingers.
Oh my God! My house is full of shit! He's shit everywhere!
Yes.
Ejaculate all over my body and my genitals.
Yes.
Oh no! We suck again!
You don't need fundamentals when you got heart.
And Jesus.
And Jesus.
That's right.
Touchdown.
Number
Anyways,
1.
What do you mean funny? Funny how? How am I funny?
it's going down.
Down.
I'm yelling timber.
Goddamn jets.
Are we gonna?
You're only in this city.
Should we start a meat podcast of it, like
the meat pod?
slow roasted?
The leads are weak.
Leads are weak. Fucking leads are weak. You're weak.
All I do is win, no matter what.
Erroneous. Erroneous on both counts. Oh Lord.
I mean, last year when I won and went home, my wife's pants hit the ground.
Wow.
But damn,
Well, I'm sorry. I hijacked your segment for a second to do some good podcasting.
You know why, mister? Because you drove a Hyundai to get here tonight. I drove an $80,000 BMW. That's my name.
I think we've officially lost all of our more conservative viewers. So I don't think they want to listen any longer.
This is
just happened?
it's Mother Nature.
I live my life a quarter mile at a time.
Where's Logo Girl when you need her?
I desperately want to make love to
It's cheese.
We
Girl.
need Cheese Girl now.
Down goes Anderson! Down goes Anderson!
Who's canceled now? Who's canceled now?
Probably me.
You making fun of fat people?
Not just you.
We're a whole race, basically.
No way. You just finger bang their salad. What?
You first get shocked, and then you get the shocker.
Hey,
like to see homos naked. That's cool, man. Whatever. No.
Most people, like, they're driving along and they're like in between meals. They're like, I'm a little hungry. I'm going to have a granola bar. And he's like, I need a cheeseburger.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you were here?
Towpath Bourbon. Towpath Bourbon, made from corn, barley, and just the right amount of rye. This blended straight bourbon whiskey is designed for the real bourbon lover. Intense notes of maple, cinnamon, vanilla, and oats hit you up front. Rich and intense, yet balanced all the way through with a strong and lingering finish. Great by itself, on the rocks, or in a Manhattan. Available locally in Northeast Ohio and online in 46 states. Towpath Bourbon.
Browns fans, are you ready to take your fandom on the road? Join True Fan Travel, an official fan experience partner of the Cleveland Browns, and travel with other Browns fans like never before. Everything is taken care of. Flights, hotels, tailgate, game tickets, transportation, food, drinks, everything that's important to Browns fans. Each trip will also include an exclusive meet and greet with former Browns players. Visit TrueFanTravel.com today and reserve your ultimate Browns travel package.